Very good afternoon. Shops in airports have been told to cut their prices after accusations they're failing to pass on VAT savings to customers. It comes after reports that some retailers were using the relief on the value-added tax to boost their profits instead of reducing the price of goods for air passengers. Rebecca Williams has more for us at the big screen. Rebecca.
Well, let's start with the basics, shall we? Many of us think that airports are cheaper because you're shopping tax-free, but what exactly does that mean? Now, let's imagine you're going on holiday and buying a bottle of sun cream. Now, VAT is added to most items we buy at 20%. So, for example, on the high street, the bottle of sun cream, including VAT, might cost £10. But at airports, you're travelling outside the European Union, VAT isn't added, so the same bottle of sun cream should cost £8.33. Now, despite that, many stores are still charging the full amount, including what they would normally pay in VAT. In other words, they're pocketing the tax relief to boost their profits. And that's where your boarding pass comes in. Retailers use the information on the pass to prove the items you bought are exempt from VAT. And on top of that, some staff at airport shops claim seeing your boarding pass is a legal requirement. Now, many people think they're not asked to show their boarding pass for security purposes. Again, that's nothing to do with security, it's about tax. And it seems in some cases, it's about profit too.
Some customers have actually been refused a sale if they didn't provide their boarding pass, which we now know that those retailers have absolutely no right to do. So I think a really important message for people is that it is not compulsory to show your boarding pass when you actually buy things at the airport. I would say stick to your guns. There is absolutely no legal there's no legal obligation, there's no reason for security or anything like that for you to provide your boarding pass. So that retailer actually has no right to do that. So if you don't feel comfortable with that and you don't feel comfortable with the fact that that retailer is potentially using that tax gain for themselves without passing it on to you, stand your ground.
So, Rebecca, they've been charging us all of this extra, well, they've not been charging us extra cash, but they've not been giving us a discount.
Yes, in some cases, I think that's fair to say. And what I've seen from speaking to people and on Twitter is the shock that people don't realise that you don't actually have to hand over your boarding pass. It's not a legal requirement.
Which is what a lot of people think it is.
Absolutely, unless you're buying alcohol or tobacco in places like World Duty Free Group. Now, of course, the government has spoken out about this today. They say this VAT allowance should benefit customers. They should get lower prices at airports and it shouldn't be a windfall for airport shops. We have heard that from some of them. John Lewis have just got back to me, actually. They say that they don't charge VAT there. WH Smith's, well known on airside, they say they instead have in-store promotions to benefit customers. Again, Dixon's, they say they have a price match policy. So,
price match with whom?
Price match, they say, with online retailers.
Oh, yeah.
But we have had a comprehensive statement from Boots, which is interesting because Boots charge the same on the high street as they do at the airport, which surprises some people. They've said our airport store teams are asked to request and scan boarding cards to ensure the accuracy of our accounting records, which includes the accurate reporting of VAT. They go on to say our pricing in airport stores is consistent with our London prices and VAT isn't taken into account when setting the prices of products.
But they get 20% uplift at the airport.
Absolutely, it would seem so. And it seems a shock to many people that this is happening. So I think there'll be a lot more clarity with consumers today. As I say, people taking to Twitter, lots of people saying that this is a VAT fiddle at our expense. Lots of people saying it's rip-off Britain. And there are reports that people are now going to protest and they simply won't hand over their boarding pass when they go to the airport.
Well, let's wait and see. I'm sure if there was an extra long queue anywhere at the airport today, that will be because journalists everywhere were in a queue saying, I'm not going to give you my boarding card.
But I'm not sure about you, but I have actually been to the airport and have been refused to buy a product because I haven't handed over my boarding card.
So you're not allowed to do that?
No, not in places like Boots and WH Smith's, only on alcohol.
Well, we sent our very own Michelle Clifford to do exactly that, so we'll find out what happened to her a little bit later on. For now, thanks very much indeed, Rebecca. Now, continued strike action looks